I watch a lot of interviews. I listen to a lot of podcasts with a whole host of different guests. And quite often, towards the end of an interview or the end of a podcast, the interviewer will ask the guest the same sort of cliched, slightly trite question. And that is, what is your biggest regret? Now, for every cliched question, there is, of course, a cliched answer. And so often we'll hear the very same copy-paste answer of, well, I try to live a life of no regrets. I try to live in the here and now, forget about the past, what's done is done, etc., etc. Now, whilst in principle this sounds like a lovely theory, I do believe that it's impossible to live as a human being a life of zero regret. Yes, of course, there is value in forgetting certain elements of the past and looking to the future and making plans rather than dwelling on historic mistakes. However, to say we can live a life of no regrets, I believe, is missing out on a very, very fundamental part of the human condition. And that's what I want to talk about today, not only in general, but from a very specific angle of a gambler or an addict of any kind, really. I guess the same principle will apply. Firstly, I just want to say thank you for clicking on this video. Welcome back if you're not new around here. If you are, and you find this video interesting, useful, or whatever, then just give us a like, give us a subscribe, and all the rest of it at the end of the video if you think it's decent. Like I say, with that said and done, I want to talk about regrets. Now, regrets generally, as we know, fall into one of two categories. We regret the things we do. Maybe we got overly drunk at the work Christmas party and we hit on someone we shouldn't have done. Or there might be regrets for things we didn't do. Maybe we didn't invest in Bitcoin when it was at an all-time low. Maybe we didn't take a job opportunity that arose, and we think maybe we should have done that historically. So we can, regrets fall into one of two categories. As gamblers, as addicts in general, we will find that we are probably littered with more regrets than the average human being. Certainly, gambling losses are regrets of sorts. Sometimes the arguments we have with partners or whatever after a losing gambling session that's put us in a bad mood, we regret that. But the one positive thing is that in many instances we can actually choose our regrets. Now, this sounds kind of depressing, doesn't it? Because it basically sounds like, well, you're destined one way or the other, whatever you decide to do, you are destined to a life of misery and, abject regret. But there is a positive slant to this, because we do have options. Now, I'm going to use a very real-world situation to explain what I mean. I might be in the pub. I know you may find it hard to believe, but that could well happen. I'm sat with a group of mates, and we're chatting absolute nonsense like we often do. In the corner of the pub, there's a fruit machine, and it's sitting there, and it's flashing, and it's trying to entice me in, and the gambling urges within me are starting to stir. But I try and think, I'll do the right thing for once. I won't abandon my mates and go and be Billy No Mates in the corner losing his money. I'm going to stay at the table, I'll order another pint, and we're going to watch the football. Yes, cliched, I know. Someone comes in, someone I've not seen before, into the pub, and they play the fruit machine that I've been, that's been coaxing me over for the last hour or so. They then proceed to lose a lot of money. So now the urge is stronger than ever. My brain's telling me, Phil, go and play that machine. You're going to win money. Go and play that machine. You regret it if you don't. But no, in this instance, I try and stay strong. I try and stay focused on my friends, on the football, and whatever the conversation is going on around me. A little while passes, someone else comes in, puts a few quid in, wins a jackpot. I now thoroughly regret not listening to my gambling urges, my subconscious that told me that I should go and play that machine because it's likely to pay out. Now, of course, the problem with regrets and anything where, we have to basically reach a T-junction and we have to make a decision is we don't actually know what would have happened had we made the opposite and opposing decision. The opposite could have happened. Maybe I did play the machine. Maybe it wasn't ready to give a jackpot. Maybe I went through and I did what I always used to do, which is keep playing and keep playing and keep playing until I'd lost my bottom dollar. And I went home in a mood with no money, had an argument with the missus, pissed my friends off because I'd abandoned them to go and play with this flashing light box in the corner, and woke up the next day feeling like utter shit. Obviously, we don't know. We don't know what we haven't done. We don't know what the outcome would be had we chosen a different path. So this is where you get to choose your regrets. And you can actually basically tier them. You can decide, well, what will I regret more? If I don't play that machine, If I don't act on the instinct and on the gambling urges, maybe, as it happened in my scenario, someone will come in, put a tenner in, win 100 quid. I will regret not doing that, because I could have made myself 90 quid there. Nice, lovely jubbly. The other regret is that I do go and play the machine, and I lose my money, and probably more money than I could possibly have won, plus some, and I've pissed people off, and I've gone home late and had an argument with the missus, and I've woken up next day feeling like shit. Okay. Which regret do I want to run the risk of experiencing? And I think in this example it's pretty obvious. Another scenario, which may relate to more of you, to be fair, is you find yourself scrolling through the betting app on your phone, and you see that, well, Man United are a really good price to beat Man City. And to be fair, this season there's probably a decent reason for that. And you think, actually, I should bet on that. That's really, really good value. But you don't. And then Man United win. And you think, yes, I knew I should have bet on that. And you regret not placing that bet. The alternative is you do bet on it. Man United lose, you lose your money, you get pissed off, you have a bit of a crappier evening because of it, you don't enjoy the football as much that you're watching because you've got money riding on it. Maybe you then chase that loss, maybe you then fall down a rabbit hole and you find yourself up at silly o'clock in the morning betting on the Estonian B division. Again, which regret can you live with the most? Which regret won't weigh as heavy on you as the other? And in that instance, I'm sure the loss of a few quid as a result of a winning football bet will be a much, much more, ineffective or unsubstantial, should I say, regret than falling down that rabbit hole of, chasing losses and just pissing yourself off and wasting a Saturday. If we flip this theory on its head, then we can look at another philosophy, again, not one of my own, and something probably said by someone far smarter than myself. But we have to look at life as the us of tomorrow. I'm recording this video on a Tuesday, so I have to think about life from Wednesday Phil's perspective. I have a choice. I'm working from home today, so which means I get to finish a little bit earlier. It means I get some extra time because I don't have to commute. Now, when I finish work, I have two choices. Well, actually, I have a whole plethora of choices, but ultimately there's two things that I'm likely to do. I plan to go to the gym. My bag's packed and I'm ready to go to the gym and do something positive. The alternative, which a lot of Tuesday Phil quite fancies, is going to the pub. There's quite a lot of football on tonight, so I can go to the pub, have a few pints, throw some darts, watch some football. As I said, with regret, we have that choice. But what we have to do is foreshadow how Wednesday Phil is going to feel about the decisions that we make. I would rather wake up tomorrow with aching arms, aching chest, aching back, whatever I decide to do at the gym, than I would with an aching head and an aching wallet because I made the wrong decision to go to the pub. Now, this isn't to say to go in the pub's particularly bad. In fact, actually, what's most likely to happen is as a bit of a hybrid. Is I'll probably go to the pub for an hour or so, to go to the gym for an hour or so, and then pop to the pub and have a quick pint on the way home. Perfect. But anyway, my point is, the like regret, we can choose how we're going to feel about ourselves tomorrow. So if we make the decision now, we have to do it based on what the us of tomorrow is going to want us to do. Think how you're going to feel in the morning after whatever decisions you make today. That's a bit rambly. I certainly haven't put it as well as the people that probably said it the first time around. So my apologies that I can't remember who they are. Otherwise, I'll point you in their direction so you can actually go and listen to an expert. But just ideas that I wanted to share. Regret is inevitable because we have to make choices. Every choice we make, comes at some sort of cost. I can choose to go to the gym tonight, which I strongly believe is the right decision to make. But that comes at the cost of, well, apart from the fact I'm going to ache tomorrow, that comes at the cost of not spending a bit of extra time with my friends, or that I might miss the football. But, the cost of going to the pub is the fact I didn't get to go to the gym. And actually that then comes with a financial cost and a physical cost and probably a cost in a lack of productivity tomorrow. So every choice we make has a cost, and therefore it's almost impossible to live a life without regret. But like I say, the real positive is that we can, in many instances, choose that regret. And so if we can just fast ourselves forward 24 hours, think what decision we are likely to regret more than the other, regardless of the outcome. I hope that makes sense. Hope you're keeping safe. Hope you're keeping sane. Thank you again for all your support. If you like this sort of video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe and do all that sort of wonderful YouTubey stuff. And of course, I will look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care.